James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. We're talking about it. You want to know about it? Come on inside.
What's up, everybody? We are the Jersey Comic Crew. Today we are talking James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie. That's right, arguably the best DC EU movie that's come out ever, says critics online. We want to talk about our review and reaction here. This is your spoiler warning. Make sure you have watched the movie. It's free on HBO Max. Go watch it before you listen to our conversation here. So I want to start off, Chris, with talking to you about my favorite character. And I know you already know who it is. It's my man King Shark. I think he stole the show. I didn't realize.
Stole
yes,
the show.
100%. He
Dumbest
stole
character
the show.
stole the show.
The best character in the whole freaking movie. Him ripping people apart. He said, "Friend." He's hugging them. They made friends. He had the weird "don't friends," and he's following them. And they turn on him. I thought he died. He's getting shot. He was my favorite character in the whole thing. I loved him.
He had two seeds.
He had so many seeds.
He rips a guy apart once.
That was great.
And
he
that was
eats
it.
a bunch of guys.
He ate one other guy.
He ate a
food on
couple
his
guys.
head. And then you had the reverse Jaws scene where he's throwing the squids off of him
That was great.
After he's like a kid in the park running on the glass.
He's just so lovable. And then like at the end with Idris Elba's character, Deadshot or Deadpool or whoever. Bloodsport. Yeah, there you go. There's your edgy name. Says nom nom, and he's like, okay, and he jumps up and he bites him. I didn't realize also that's Sylvester Stallone until I looked it up in the credits. I couldn't hear it at all.
Because that was that was the first time I think they just let Sylvester Stallone play himself in a movie. So like that was pretty on the nose.
But yeah, I gotta say, for me, he stole the show. I loved it. Every time I saw him on screen, I just wanted more King Shark, and I'm happy he's one of the few that made it out alive, so we get to see him again in the show, in the next show or the next movie, whatever they put him in.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, I can see it if they still want to do it. I thought personally, Polka Dot Man stole the show for me. I thought I was because one, I
Chris.
no, he had a lot of scenes, and the reason is because I was like, oh, they're gonna kill him so fast, right? It's Polka Dot Man. Like, there's no reason for him to be alive, and every time they just kept doubling down on like the weird virus of polka dots, and he's purging them in the middle of the night, and
he was definitely he definitely like relieved himself.
Yeah, like he was purging
get it off.
No, he was throwing up. Like
he was throwing up.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever made a sound doing that. By the way, like that, he was just blah. But that's how I do it. It was pretty well. Yeah, I'm sure you are. You're an animal. But so. Like I love that. I love the weird stuff with his mom where everyone is looking like her. Even Starro at the end was just a giant her. And like he just kept like just demolishing people with the polka dots, and he wanted to die the whole time. Like he was just a depressed character. I thought he was hysterical.
When he died at the end, like I thought they were gonna kill him early. Then like when he was alive at the end, he's like, I'm a superhero. The second he said I'm a superhero, I'm like, he's dead.
Oh yeah,
boom, died.
Absolutely.
But all right, in all honesty, the character like that I really loved, and I was very surprised on how well he did. Not really. Idris Elba was fantastic. He could do no wrong.
He's Idris Elba,
right? Like, and like to me, he actually melted into the role, unlike Will Smith.
Yeah.
Right? Like for me, he felt like Bloodsport, especially with that cool helmet that can like decompress and everything, which explains why he doesn't have a helmet on a lot. John Cena's Peacemaker. I was very pleasantly surprised at his acting and how well the chemistry was back and forth with everything. And like just seeing him in these cool action scenes that he could do because, his wrestling background. Like he's like a Rock without like being the Rock on the show. Like it was great.
Yeah, he was the Rock with being able to be a different character.
Yes.
I assumed he was going to be really good, obviously, because we know, he's getting his own show on HBO Max at the beginning of next year.
I did not know that.
Really, because it's on our Instagram, which you are also on all the time.
Let me rephrase. I forgot it until I saw the after credit scene, and I'm like, duh, he's making a show.
Yeah,
I believe it the whole time.
But we also know, like, the show now, we just found out actually, like, yesterday, that show is going to take place prior to Suicide Squad and after. So we'll see the events post that, after credit scene where he's alive, as well as flashbacks, which is like that's James Gunn's thing, right? He's gonna flashback and do a lot of stuff. But yeah, I enjoyed Peacemaker a lot. A lot of dude dangle, to say it lightly, in this movie. which I thought was funny. Like John Cena and tidy whities in the middle of the night. It's like, whoa.
He's like, what are you doing? He's like, I'll do anything for justice. I'll suck all these dicks. I'll suck all this island for justice.
Like, why would you need to do that?
He had some of the greatest jokes.
But I thought also kind of unsung hero, which in the beginning I was like, oh, whatever, this is a weird character. Ratcatcher 2. Right. I thought Ratcatcher was kind of like the heart and soul of the film.
She was.
In a weird way, you know, kind of like the weird orphan girl who becomes like the hero. Mm-hmm. The ending is still very like, you know, James Gunn confusing for me because I'm like, how are the rats getting inside of here? And
the rat they climb.
I know they climb and claw. Like I love Taika Waititi as her dad in the flashbacks, as well as kind of how Bloodsport related to that dad figure in a better way with her. So I thought that was pretty cool.
On the internet, you know, you read reviews and hear some things. People talking about Harley Quinn and Rick Flag, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of people upset Rick Flag. He didn't have a prominent role in this, and he died. I'm kind of agreeing that I was a little upset, but I understand why, because you have all these other characters that we're focusing on. And Harley Quinn, yes, she wasn't the main role of this movie. I really enjoyed Harley Quinn in this movie. Like, I love that, like, she wasn't the focus of the movie. If she was, I still would have loved it. I love her character, Margot Robbie, and her. It's such a great casting. She does so well. But to see her kind of take a back seat and, like, let the other characters shine through, and she can still do all her crazy, weird things, I thought it was a great use of her character. Like, we see her so prominently in the other stuff before. It's not like I'm missing or I needed more Harley Quinn. I was just so happy, like, all the other characters were doing so well with their development. And then she just added that consistency, that base. Her shooting that guy right after they had sex, she's like, I can't leave you. You're dead to me. You hurt children. Poor, rest in peace, that poor monster in your pants. But, like, I can't do this.
That was funny.
Right? Like, and then seeing her kick ass. Like, she had so much time to shine, but it didn't detract from the other things. And I think that's just James Gunn paying attention to the characters and making sure all the other ones shine so well.
Yeah, to answer both your sides, first with Rick Flag, I was totally okay with Rick Flag dying because it was one of the things in the movie I didn't see coming. Right?
Yeah, I did not see it coming.
This movie is, in a lot of ways, especially for people like us, where we're overanalyzing and it's very predictable, but it's not a movie that means it's bad because it's predictable. And I thought the Rick Flag, like, fighting Peacemaker, that whole stuff with the death scene. By the way, we were right. We predicted that Amanda Waller and the American government would be the cause of Starro. Of course it was.
That's true.
And I thought the fact that they killed Rick Flag was the surprise death of the Suicide Squad, where, like, correct, you know, Team A in the beginning getting demolished. It's like, oh yeah, of course. Like, all these people are supposed to die. Like, his name is Javelin. Of course he's gonna die. You know what I mean? Like, all that stuff was great.
Is that the Spear of Destiny? I've seen, like, a lot of theories about that, and I don't know if it is, because, like, the Spear of Destiny in the comic books, ladies and gentlemen, is just one of these magical items and, like, gives the wielder so much strength. Like, it can do so much more than actually just be a little javelin. And I think even in the hands of Harley Quinn, we would have saw more than that. But maybe that's just like a small little Easter egg or a nod.
Might be a small Easter egg. I've seen back and forth, nothing confirmed, but it could be. I mean, that might be why he was so adamant on her taking it and why she just kept going back for it. But yeah, I thought, you know, Harley's character was perfectly done as far as there was enough of her, but there isn't too much. And I think that was kind of my problem with her in the past stuff, where it's just so much Harley, and obviously to play that character you have to be over the top, right? There's no normal monotone chill version of that character. And, you know, the fake Brooklyn accent, like, gets me so annoyed after a while. But I thought he towed the line perfectly. Like, you gave her time to shine. She had her escape scene. You know, she had her scene where, like, the javelin, which was, like, basically canonically after Birds of Prey with the flower stuff that she sees because she's insane, and all that kind of stuff. So I thought Harley was in it just enough. And absolutely, you gave other characters time to shine. Like the scene in the bar where everyone's kind of talking and having, like, this kind of, like, friendship is growing. I thought that was a great, like, James Gunn touch.
I want to talk a little bit about the ending, right? There's, you know, Starro being dead. We already touched upon this a little bit with Ratcatcher. And it was great that Ratcatcher did it, because that's immediately, like, in the pop culture mind, a lot of people know that, like, oh, Squirrel Girl beat Dr. Doom with all the squirrels. So, like, people are making that connections right away, which is a cool little thing, whether that's intentional or not. But really, my thing was the after credit scenes, right? Mm-hmm. We got one where Weasel comes back, which awesome Weasel's still a thing. I don't know if he's just gonna be killing people and then get caught again. And we're gonna see
27 children.
He did, right? I thought they were gonna do that gag in the beginning of the movie, by the way, when like they're all like there, and I'm like, all right, he's gonna wake up, right? He's gonna wake up. He has to woke up, no pulse. I was like, oh, okay, just okay.
But it was hilarious though, the fact that like the first death is by drowning because he can't swim.
They're like, how come nobody told me he can't swim? And everybody's looking like, oh shit.
And also the people in the office doing the bets, phenomenal.
Oh, great, fantastic little touch.
Yes.
But the ending, you know, Peacemaker dies to Bloodsport, Idris Elba's character, with a smaller, thinner bullet that goes through his bullets, which is a direct callback to a scene earlier that they had when they first met, which was fantastic and was cool to see visually as well. Peacemaker's alive, right? And we touched upon this a little bit before that he's getting the show. So we know we're going to see the stuff beforehand about him being created or probably the stuff he's gone through. My question to you, Chris, and I guess to you guys at home, I want to focus is the future, right? What is the future of Peacemaker and the Suicide Squad? Is he going to work with Amanda Waller, become the ultimate agent for peace and just do everything she says and then maybe go against the former agents of the Suicide Squad? Because we know they all got freed because of their deal. Maybe there's going to be some more feuding going on.
So I think there's two aspects to this. And the first major one is, yes, I do think that Peacemaker will be working with Amanda Waller or her unit. I at the end of the movie, when we were watching it, you know, we were like, I would watch an HBO show with just the people in this office that are like watching.
Oh my
the Suicide
God,
Squad.
yes.
It would be like the darker, funny version of the Office. And just weird, quirky people, like the chick who knocks out Amanda Waller, like an episode of her trying to figure out who did it. You know what I mean? And then like trying to erase the footage or whatever, and no one like, you can't tell her, you can't tell her. Who told her? And it's like the big guy.
That's awesome.
So like, I think the show is going to have a lot of that James Gunn funny, a lot of that James Gunn action, a lot of that James Gunn like ridiculousness.
Is he doing the show?
He is. He's writing it and he's directing. Okay. I think 6 out of the 8 episodes or 5 out of the 8 episodes. Okay. So I think there's going to be a nice mix of Peacemaker recovering and his next mission, because obviously Waller sent him in for that second mission on his own, right, to get that hard drive, so that, you know, America's washing their hands of all the horrible stuff that they do.
Of course.
The second part is, I don't know if we're going to see these Suicide Squad members anymore. And the reason is this. One,
like, you mean together on a new Suicide Squad or just in general?
In general, because you have a couple reasons, right? One, are you going to pay the amount of money for these people to come back for an episode, right? To CGI a giant king shark, to pay Idris Elba for like an episode or two, or Margot Robbie, who like really has been saying publicly, like, I need a break from Harley for a while to do some other stuff that I've been wanting to do.
Yeah.
You know, Ratcatcher 2's one thing. She's not the biggest actress. You could probably plug her in.
She's the one that like he was trying to kill at the end, right? And he just have saved her. He might go after her.
And the other side is, so the other thing is Peacemaker the Suicide Squad sequel, right? Because to put on a movie like this, it's a massive cast. You have to get everyone at the same time that are free, with actors like Idris Elba who are in everything. John Cena's one of those guys who's in a lot of stuff. You know, Margot Robbie's in everything, including winning Oscars. So, you know, you have a massive cast. Plus James Gunn, right? We know he's on Guardians right now. He's finishing up Peacemakers. He's doing Guardians Volume 3. He's done with Guardians after that. I don't know if he wants to go back and do another superhero movie and not do something else that's been on his plate. I know Warner Brothers wants him to. Warner Brothers is throwing everything at him, but because they should.
Here's the thing. He could kind of go, he could do what he was doing with Marvel, but like so much darker and grittier, right? Like before he's like, hey, here's your sandbox you have to play with. And now it's like, oh, the rules are off. I can do whatever I want. Like it gives you more creative freedom, more like incentive to do things. But like you were saying, when you said, is this the sequel? What immediately peaked in my mind, maybe they filmed a lot of other scenes and stuff with the cast members for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe we get them in there, but not additional stuff. So it's like, oh, there's a scene where he's chasing down King Shark and gets away, or something like that, and he looks at Margot Robbie away just to get to Bloodsport and Ratcatcher. You know what I mean? That could be really cool. Or it's like a whole new thing, and like he's just chasing down new villains and stuff like that. Like I'm down for whatever James Gunn and Warner Brothers wants to do. My final question to you, Chris, and to those of you at home. The first Suicide Squad movie, which arguably is one of the worst movies that they released. Mm-hmm. Now getting Birds of Prey, and now this, right? And that kind of set the building block to get to where we are now. Was it worth it? For me, I'm going to say for me first. I think it's worth it. Like, you know, we got to here. We had to go through that, and now we're here. I think it's worth it. Suicide Squad 1, yes, there was a lot of weird kinks in it, but there was a lot of good moments. Oh, side note, I didn't think they'd kill Captain Boomerang. That really surprised me. Like, just like killing Ric Flair.
Especially since he was like, oh, I want to be in the Flash movie.
Exactly.
So that was pretty cool, too, yeah.
But like Birds of Prey, I enjoyed, but like I understand why it's not arguably as good a movie as some of the other things. But like, were those movies worth it? And like, has DC quote unquote officially right the ship? Because everybody's been saying since Shazam, since Aquaman, the ship has been turning into the right direction. Can we finally say the ship's on the right direction, or do we have to wait until a Batman or Wonder Woman or Superman to be on the right direction?
That's a really good question, and it's not an easy one to answer because I think for everyone you're going to get a different answer of some sort.
True.
I'd say for me personally, to get to this, if this was the only way to get to this, then for them it's worth it, or it may not be, because as much as I enjoyed it, because I find James Gunn to have the same sick sense of humor that I do, but for the box office numbers and the pandemic, it might not be. It's not doing well in box office. People would rather just watch it at home on HBO Max, and there's going to be a lot of money issues with this. I think it's worth it because it's a better product at the end of the day. I think this movie is way better than the first Suicide Squad or Birds of Prey combined. And there's a couple reasons, right? This wasn't taken seriously as like a serious movie-going film. You're taking a ridiculous concept with ridiculous characters in ridiculous situations. The first one was trying to be really serious and missed the mark completely.
Yep.
Second one, way too much Harley, gets old. And I think it's a tough road to go down, but I also think Warner Brothers is still kind of shooting darts and seeing what works. I think so. I think Batman is going to be its own separate thing in a different, multiverse situation. And I think Flash is going to be the big one where we're going to see by the end of that, okay, are we going towards a shared universe, a multiverse? Are we rebooting the universe but keeping, the Aquamans and the Wonder Womans and Shazams and no one else? Or are we rebooting this with better creatives, and then now you could do, a Black Superman movie here and Henry Cavill over here, and they're on different multiverses. You know what I mean? Like there's so many questions that we have and so many things that they have to figure out still.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and say, yeah, they're on the right track the way that a Marvel is.
Yeah, because it's like we don't even know what the track is yet.
Exactly. We don't know the track, right? Like right now it's like the track is up ahead and you don't know if they're going left or right. Yeah. Is the lever going to be pulled? So I think great movie. Great step, right? It's never a bad thing to have a good movie in your pocket. Shazam was a decent movie. Aquaman's a decent movie. Those are definitely movies that are on the right track. And I think, obviously, next up, they're going to have a couple that they're going to need to prove that are really good. Your Aquaman 2s, your Shazam 2s. Black Adam, I have no faith in personally. I don't think it's going to be good. That's just me. I'm not hoping it's not. I really hope it is. But I think the biggest tellers are going to be Matt Reeves, the Batman, and this quote-unquote Flashpoint movie.
I think so too. Guys, that is a review of the Suicide Squad movie by the one and only James Gunn. Let us know down in the comments below what you thought of the movie, guys. Really want to hear your thoughts on this.
And guys, thanks so much for watching. Give us a thumbs up, like. It really helps the channel a lot so we can keep creating content for you. And as well, make sure you subscribe, turn on the notifications. We put videos out all the time. You don't want to miss anything coming up, like What If, or our finale of Bad Batch coming out soon. As well, make sure you follow us on our social medias at Twitter and Instagram at Jersey Comic Crew. And as always, I'm Chris Heller. That is Rob Moran. We are the Jersey Comic Crew, and we will see you next time.